pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone to our regular session of Goldendale City Council for April 17, 2023. I'll ask Sandy to read the roll call. We have a full council here tonight.
Okay, Steve Johnston.
Here.
Dave Jones.
Here.
Lauren Meeker.
Here.
Ellie Casey here. Andy Holm.
Here.
Gilberto Ontiveros.
Here.
And Mila Molly.
Here.
First item at roll call is closed public comment. This is for agenda items only. Is anyone here for public comment under any item on the agenda itself? Anybody online or on the Zoom portion of this? If not, we'll move on. That we don't have a public hearing tonight. We have the agenda and consent agenda, which needs a motion to approve or disapprove. Do we have a motion?
I move that we accept the agenda and the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda and consent agenda for this session of City Council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The presentation tonight was going to be done by Isaiah Garcia from the Clear Lake County Volunteer Services. I think we probably got our wires crossed. He's not available tonight. I think we'll hear from him in May. He will be able to help us getting volunteers to help us with citywide cleanup. One of the things we like doing so far is to get a date that will work to get that cleanup carried out. And we can work on that with him, since he may be the main provider of volunteers. We'll go to department reports then. We'll call on our Chief of Police, Jay Hunziker.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have very much tonight. Things are going good at the police department. We're getting really close to launching the body camera system, where we had some technical difficulties trying to get things registered versus our firewalls. So we got it worked around that, so we're getting real close. And just before those go in, I will bring in one of the units so you can see what they're like. And so, but other than that, doing good.
Thank you, Chief. Our fire chief is not here tonight. We'll go on now. There's not council business. There's not a resolution. There aren't ordinances tonight, but we will hear from a report of officers, and we'll begin with Steve Johnston.
Well, I'd like to start by complimenting Mylan on all the effort and work he's been doing regarding the observatory and the airport.
Yeah, thank you.
You've been busy.
We have been busy, and we're accomplishing quite a bit, but then we'll talk about that later on, but then we've been very busy.
Well, appreciate the effort,
Yeah.
to say the least. And then, well, I'd like to make a request of Pat for an update on the allocation of the ARPA funds. Don't have to do it tonight. I'd like to blindside you, but by next meeting on those funds. And any movement on our water and sewer and utility rates?
Yeah, so, excuse me, if I pause, it's because I'm having severe asthma, so just give me a few minutes. They will, I sent her off a list of 5 comparable cities, so they're going to evaluate those 5 cities on those rates, and that'll be the last element that goes into it. And she got that stuff early this week, so she'll get that completed and get that into the document, and then she'll be coming for a presentation probably in, I'm hoping, less than 30 days. So. And, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
The sooner the better. I mean,
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for months.
Yes.
And every month that goes by, it affects our revenue.
Simple as that. Yeah, they're a long, drawn-out process, and I understand that it's time-consuming, but there is some more information that we had to wait for the audit review to get done and figure out where some things were financially. And the audit should be closing up here very quickly. If it's not closed, did they close it last week or?
Not that I told you.
So we actually finally, with the help of the consulting CPA firm and working with the auditors for several months, we figured out what all those revenue sources were and exactly what money's in it as close as we possibly can to answer her questions, to get the data she needed to get all the rate study information in the document.
Okay.
It has to do with a lot of debt service, which the city definitely has a lot of debt service.
Well, I know in the past, we've never had to wait for these rate studies to take action in regards to something like this. And it's a little frustrating, to say the least.
What do you mean, you've never done a full-blown rate
I didn't
study?
say we didn't do it. But as far as addressing our utility rates and water sewer rates, the council.
What's that?
The council has the authority to do that anytime we want.
Yeah, but it's, you need to really should evaluate your rates and have a study done to determine that you're not overshooting or undershooting the target. And that comes with a lot of research. This was a process you, as a council, started prior to me getting here with this consultant. I'm just trying to finish it up.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks, Steve. Dave?
Oh, thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I just wanted to thank the Chamber of Commerce for all the work they've been doing with their workshops. I was able to attend the one they had last Tuesday, and yeah, I think a lot of good discussions came from it and ideas, and just appreciate all the work they're doing with that. And the community days planning's in full on right now. The only other thing I wanted to mention is the American flag that we have out there outside of City Hall here. It doesn't have a light on it, and it's up all night. And by the flag code, flags that you have outside up all night should have a light on it. So maybe we could look into that. I know the one right next door at the USDA building, they have what looks like a solar light that shines down, right, Lauren?
Yep.
And that looks like it works real good, and they're pretty inexpensive. You can find them on
So
Amazon.
Connie apparently checked on that, because
Oh.
that's been brought up once before when she was here. And she said that she was told that the street light lights it up enough. But we can look into getting a solar light.
Yeah, I think they only cost about $50 or so, and they don't
Big
even
good
have,
improvement.
yeah. Anyway, that's all I have. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Lauren, wait.
No report.
Ellie, Andy.
All I have is, after last meeting, I went and drove out down the industrial park and saw the new building back there. They put that thing up quick, so
Yeah.
I thought it was just really cool to see that being put up.
They did.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Phil.
Nothing for me.
Michael.
No, again, just previously what Steve said, we've been real busy working on the airport and other projects here, and so, yeah, we're moving along, so
Very good.
that's all I have, Mayor.
On the mayor's comments too, one, when we first received that possibility to have a grant that would cover building that incubator building, Pat and several people really worried about whether we would ever be able to build that type of building by the end of May, considering the time the ground was frozen, there was snow coming, all that. And put a lot of worry into it and a lot of planning, very, very distinct planning. And the construction company that's doing that work has been incredibly quick and professional about it. You don't hear yelling and screaming, you just hear hammers and screwdrivers and things like that. I mean, they're really doing a very nice job. That's, it would be something that would get a lot of very positive attention for Goldendale and grants if we turn that building in for the final inspection before the end of May. And I think that'll probably happen because they are so advanced and it is so well set up. So With that, we'll hear from our city administrator, Pat Munyon.
So I've been in contact with Todd Chase, if you guys remember, that has to do with the tax incremental financing document. He's reviewed all the data we sent him. He says there needs to be some modifications to the mapping system. There's about $25,000 left under the current contract. I'm gonna invite him at the next meeting. I just talked to him today to attend the next meeting and give you guys an update of what's going on and what other information he feels he needs to complete his evaluation and process to get a sustainable district where the tax base is coming in to cover the expenses that will need to be occurring within the district. The airport, I know Mile has done a lot of work on this, so the fuel tank is tentatively to be delivered on the 25th or 26th of this month. And as soon as they lock that date down, the electrician will be in the next day to start getting that wired up and done. I think that's the last step that we have, and then that should finish out that project. As Andy said, the incubator business or building is moving along very quickly, which is good. I think they're easily should meet their deadline. I think it'll be done probably in the first week or two of May, if they stay on schedule. So that's great. With that said, Sandy and I are later this week will be working on submitting for some reimbursement on to get our grant money, or the money we've spent back. We've got pretty much all the paperwork in order that I think we need. We'll be moving on that, and then the crew is continuing working as weather permits on the pavilion at the park. They're going to put, I think I already told you, they found a bunch of dry rot when they were pulling off the fascia around the skirting. They're going to pour that back in concrete with a probably about 2-foot retaining wall, and then they're going to pour a base out away from it to a concrete strip around it to keep the grass and weeds from growing up into it. That's currently where they're at on that project. That's pretty much it.
Thanks, Pat. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Anyone here for public comment? You're in the council chamber or on the line? See any indication of anybody? If not, the next item is executive session, and we have two portions of the executive session that will be discussed. And so we need to open the executive session, and that'll mean we'll have to close the public out of this part of the discussion, Nancy.
You need
But there
to,
will be no decisions made in these, only the discussions themselves.
You mean I get to go home?
Yeah. And you want to invite Michelle to stay.
Okay,